One small step for man, one giant leap for lies. It was July 20th, 1969. The world watched in awe as Neil Armstrong took that legendary first step onto the lunar surface. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, he declared. A proud moment for America, for humanity. Or was it? What if this iconic event, this pinnacle of human achievement, was nothing more than an elaborate hoax? A carefully constructed illusion, played out on a sound stage designed to win the space race against the Soviets? This might sound crazy, man, but millions of people around the world are starting to question the official narrative. They're looking at the evidence and something just doesn't add up. We're talking about inconsistencies in NASA's own photos and footage. We're talking about testimonies from experts who claim the technology to land on the moon didn't even exist in 1969. We're talking about a cover-up so massive, so audacious, it boggles the mind. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to journey down the rabbit hole. We're going to examine the evidence, challenge the assumptions, and ask the hard questions. By the end, you might just find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about the moon landing. Shadows of doubt. The curious case of lunar lighting. Let's start with the visual evidence, specifically the shadows in the Apollo 11 photographs. If the sun is the only source of light on the moon, as NASA claims, shouldn't all the shadows be parallel? Yet, in many photos, the shadows fall in different directions. This suggests multiple light sources, like stage lights, were used. It's almost as if they were trying to mimic the effect of sunlight on a set. Don't you think that's a little too convenient? Then there's the issue of the astronauts being brightly lit, even when they're in the shadow of the lunar module. How is that possible if there's no atmosphere to scatter light? It's almost as if they had artificial lighting to illuminate the scene. These lighting anomalies raise serious questions about the authenticity of the moon landing footage. Are these innocent oversights or evidence of a grand deception? Waving in the wind. Yeah, but there's no wind on the moon. Another iconic image from the moon landing, the American flag planted proudly on the lunar surface. But wait a minute, how is that flag waving? There's no air, no atmosphere on the moon. NASA claims the rippling effect is due to the way the flag was mounted, but that explanation doesn't hold water for many skeptics. The flag clearly appears to be waving in a breeze. Could it be that the scene was shot in a studio with a large fan blowing to create the effect of wind? Then there's the issue of the lack of a blast crater under the lunar module. You'd expect a powerful engine landing on the moon to leave a significant mark, right? Yet the photos show no such crater. It's almost as if the module was gently placed there, not landed after a fiery descent. The experts speak voices from the fringe. We're not just talking about armchair conspiracy theorists here. Respected scientists, engineers, and even astronauts have voiced their doubts about the moon landing. Take William Casing, for example. He was a former employee of Rocketdyne, the company that built the engines for the Apollo program. Casing claimed that the technology simply wasn't advanced enough in 1969 to land humans on the moon and bring them back safely. He maintained that the entire mission was staged at Area 51, the top-secret military base in Nevada. Then there's Bart Sibrel, a filmmaker who has dedicated his career to exposing the moon landing hoax. Sibrel has confronted numerous Apollo astronauts, demanding they swear on the Bible that they walked on the moon. These encounters often end in anger and even violence, leading some to believe the astronauts are trying to hide something. We say battling the believers. Now, the folks at NASA, they have explanations for everything. Shadows? Well, that's just the way light works on the moon, the waving flag. It's just the way the fabric is bunched up. No blast crater. The lunar surface is hard, man. It doesn't crater easily. They dismiss these inconsistencies as easily debunked myths, the product of misinformed conspiracy theorists. They point to the vast amount of scientific data collected during the Apollo missions, the moon rocks brought back to Earth, the independent verification from other countries. But for many, these explanations just don't cut it. The evidence, they argue, is too compelling to ignore. The inconsistencies too numerous to be coincidental. Crisis of faith. Can we trust what we see? This isn't just about the moon landing anymore, man. It's about trust. Trust in our government, Trust in our institutions, trust in the information we are being fed. What if this was all a carefully crafted lie, a way to assert American dominance during the Cold War, to win the space race at any cost? And if they lied about this, what else are they lying about? It's a scary thought, I know. Nobody wants to believe that their government, their heroes, would deceive them on such a grand scale. But the evidence is out there, waiting to be examined. What really happened? A universe of possibilities. So, if the moon landing was indeed a hoax, what really happened? Some speculate that the astronauts never even left Earth's orbit. Others believe they did go to space, but never actually landed on the moon. Maybe they got there and found something they weren't supposed to see. Something that made them turn back. Something they were forced to keep secret. The truth, as they say, is often stranger than fiction. The price of truth. Why keep the secret? The implications of faking the moon landing are huge. It would mean that one of the most celebrated moments in human history was a lie. It would shake the very foundations of our society. But why would they do it? What's the point of maintaining this charade for over 50 years? Some argue it's about money. NASA received billions of dollars in funding for the Apollo program. Exposing the hoax would mean admitting that this money was wasted, perhaps even stolen. Others believe it's about power. Maintaining the illusion of American technological superiority has been a key part of US foreign policy for decades. Whatever the reason, the truth has a way of coming out eventually. Open your eyes, the truth is out there. Look, I'm not saying I have all the answers here, but I am saying that there are enough questions, enough inconsistencies to warrant a serious investigation. Don't just take my word for it, or NASA's word for it. Do your own research. Look at the evidence with a critical eye. Ask yourself, what if they're lying? The moon landing was a seminal event, an achievement that captured the imagination of the world. But what if it never actually happened? The truth, whatever it may be, is out there, and it's time we demand it.